In religion, you did not choose your beliefs because you wanted to or because they made sense to you. You chose those beliefs that religion handed to you because you were afraid not to. And now that you have walked away from religion, that fear is still operating in your life. This is part 4 of our series on the hidden effects of religious programming. I am Tamara Tamu. This is the Unleashed Alchemy YouTube channel where we focus on you rediscovering your sovereignty so that you can experience complete, ultimate, luxurious, opulent freedom in every single part of your life. So let's jump into part 4 of this series. So you can walk away from religion. This is why this work that I do is so important, because this is identity, cellular level nervous system work. We have a lot of beautiful people talking about deconstructing from religion. We have a lot of people giving information on how the Bible was started, what the Bible truly is, what religion really is. Those are beautiful, necessary, very necessary conversations. However, I believe before you get to that, you have to work on and consider how religious dogma affected your identity and your nervous system. And you have to clear that out. That's what we're doing in this series. All right, so let's get into it. So, fear, this is a sign that religious programming is still negatively impacting your life when fear is the driving force of everything that you do. Fear drives your beliefs. Fear drives your actions or lack thereof. Okay? You're motivated not by for the sake of motivation, or you're not even taking action because you're inspired. You're taking action because you're afraid. You're motivated by fear of some punishment, through some type of wrath, through some type of rejection. Okay? You're motivated by fear of being isolated. Okay? That's why the false place of hell is so prevalent, because it is a form of isolation. And that is still running rampant. People still believe in a place called hell. Anyway, okay, let me focus. So here's how you know that fear is still operating in your life. Your body is constantly experiencing tension. Why is that tension laced with fear? Why is it still in your life? Because you are not free. Again, it's not enough to just physically walk away from your religion. The fear that is motivating you is most likely coming from 3 branches. There's 3 branches of fear. Okay? Fear of the unknown, fear of abandonment, and fear of loss. So let's just cover each one real quick. So fear of the unknown. I'll give you one example, okay? So when you have walked away from your religion, your identity and who you thought you were has been surrounded by the beliefs that religion handed you. Okay? So when you walk away from that, fear tells you, oh, you're walking away from your identity. You're walking away from who you are, when really you're embracing your soul's true identity. Okay? So you have the fear of the unknown of, now who am I? If I don't have this religion, if I don't have this church to go to, who am I really? That is unknown territory. Okay? So then you have fear of abandonment. Fear will tell you, okay, you're leaving your family behind, you're leaving your friends. Now you're going to experience all this loneliness because you're going to be by yourself, because you walked away from your religion. You don't go to church anymore. Well, here's the thing. I'm just going to be honest with you. Your friends may change. My friends did, because I found that in religion, in church, most of the friendships that I had, religion was the tie that brought us together. Trauma was the tie that brought us together. Struggle was the tie that brought us together. We weren't necessarily friends because we liked each other's personalities. And that's just being honest. For some of you, you may no longer be close with some family members. That may happen. However, when you make spirituality the backbone of what you do, when you start to align with your soul, don't worry. You will be aligned with the perfect people at the perfect time. Okay? And then another branch of fear is fear of loss. Again, this goes back to identity. Losing an identity. You haven't lost anything. Well, actually, let me take that back. You're losing baggage. Baggage that has covered up and stacked on top of your true identity. You are losing a belief system. A belief system, though, that no longer serves you. A belief system that has limited you in your entire life. So, fear of the unknown, fear of abandonment, fear of loss. Okay? Here's what I want to tell you. You've taken the biggest step. Okay? You've taken the biggest step, the hardest step, by walking away and saying, no, I know that there is an elevated experience for me in my life. I know that there is an elevated spiritual experience for me in my life. And it does not include this religion. So, but now it's time to go further. You walked away and now you're saying, okay, now what? The now what is this identity work. And if you want to go further, if you're ready to go further in this work, I invite you to sign up and register for my Freedom Upgrade event that begins June 7th, actually this Saturday. Okay, whenever you're watching this. All right, I'm recording this June 1st. All right. And so June 7th is when we start. It's 8 sessions that I'll be teaching live. Okay, this is not just another course. This is not just another program. This is a transformational event that is going to touch you right down to the cell level, because we're talking about nervous system work and identity work. You have to remove the religious dogma that has settled in your body. That has to go away. We have to address that. And so over the 8 sessions, that's what we're going to be doing, so that you can live in your spirituality, your true spirituality, with complete freedom, without fear. Okay? So the link to do that, to register, will be in the description box of this video. All right, so let's jump back in. Now, you're saying, okay, I have left the church. I know that there's more for me to experience, but this fear is still attempting to wreak havoc. It is still a driving force. So how do you transcend it? I'll give you 2 ways. You face it. Just face it. Don't pretend like it's there. This is when you get into journaling. I strongly recommend journaling. So, because when the fear comes up, you journal when you can. All right. Obviously, you're not going to journal when you're driving. All right. But I want you to be more conscious of what that fear is telling you. Which brings me to the second thing that you can do, is actually consider what the fear is telling you. Let me give you an example. Again, we talked about the fear, the branches of fear. So we got the fear of the unknown, fear of abandonment, fear of loss. So let me give you abandonment. I'll give you an example of what abandonment could look like. Your tradition in your family has been this particular religion, right? When you leave that, you may feel as if fear is telling you that you're leaving this tradition. And so now you have no spirit, you have no more spiritual connection. Okay. Which we know is false because religion is not spirituality. Spirituality is not religion. Two different things. Okay. So let's say that since you have left, you're realizing that you have an affinity toward learning more about shamanism. Let's say that you have an affinity toward learning more about herbal magic, root work, elemental magic, moon magic. So actually consider what the fear is telling you is going to happen to you if you pick up the book of spells. Listen to what the fear is telling you if you pick up the book of magic. No, don't do that. You were told that was evil. It's not in the Bible. That is not of God. It's not holy. It's sinful. I want you to consider all of that. Listen to what this fear is telling you if you pick up the book on astrology. If you pick up the book on voodoo. Don't pretend like it isn't there. And I'm telling you this, first of all, the reason why I'm doing this series and holding this event on June 7th is because these are things that I wish I would have had when I left religion. This is the type of support that I wish I would have had. Nobody's talking about this. You're not going to find this in a book. This is coming from my experience, okay? So it would not have taken me another 20 plus years to really experience true freedom after I left the church. Okay. So I'm giving you this over, if you join the program, if you join the live event, I am helping you over 8 sessions because you do not have to go another 20 plus years to feel completely free in your life and in your spirituality and how your soul came here to be expressed. So you take away the takeaways from this video: fear of the unknown, fear of abandonment, fear of loss. How to transcend the fear is face it and really consider what the fear is telling you is going to happen. Is the fear telling you, okay, that's going into the unknown. You may as well, you don't know anything about that. You're going to do something wrong. You may as well go back to church. Is the fear holding up abandonment? Is the fear telling you, oh, now you're really going to be lonely. Now people are really going to think that you're crazy. If you pick up that book on moon magic, if you start doing candle work, people are going to think you've lost your mind. You may as well go back to church. You don't know anything about that. Or is it fear of loss? Fear is telling you, hey, you had a belief system. That's the belief system you were comfortable in. Even though it was uncomfortable, you became adjusted to it. Don't do that. You don't know anything about that. You've lost your whole belief system. There's no way that you can create another belief system. Who do you think you are to create your own belief system? Well, I'm going to tell you who you are. You are sovereign. And yes, you can create your own belief system. You are a sovereign being. That's what sovereign beings do. You weren't put here to be handed a list of rules to stay in a box. You came here to be expansive. You came here to evolve. You came here to be completely free. All right, so don't forget to register for the program. Check out my website, unleashedalchemy.com, where I provide other services and products to help you rediscover your sovereignty. All right. Let me know in the comments what your takeaways have been from the series. Let me know how you're enjoying it. Let me know how you are integrating the wisdom that I provide in these videos, how you're integrating that into your everyday life. All right. Until next time, stay tuned for part 5 and be sovereign.